So guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Q&A with Smoking, where we review, we educate, communicate all things cigars. It's a beautiful day here, so you're not joining me in the lounge, you're joining me in the beautiful garden, in the sunshine, where cigars are always best to be enjoyed. Of course, I've got a cigar with me. Let's run the intro, let's get it cut, let's get it lit, and let's answer your burning questions. Today I'm smoking the Bosna Alexander Maduro. It's a very small smoke. It's a 3.5 by 47 ring gauge, but it's perfect for times like this in this kind of weather where the sun is out. It is nice and shiny, but it isn't the most warm, perfect cigar. I'm going to go with a punch cut on this particular one. I do prefer a punch on the smaller ring gauges. 9 times out of 10 you're more likely to have less construction issues with the thinner ring gauges than taking the cap completely off. And that is a perfect punch. And remember, when you're lighting a cigar, never hold the flame against the cigar itself. Remember, you're using the heat from the flame to light your cigar. And of course, it wouldn't be one of our videos without a coffee. So coming in at number 1, will cigars make you sick? Now, yes, cigars can make you sick. There are multiple things that you can be doing to reduce the fact of feeling sick, especially if you're new to cigars. Number 1, the first one, is don't choose a cigar that's too strong for you. When you first get into cigars, you don't want to be jumping straight into Maduros. You don't want to be jumping into massive sizes. If you don't want to be smoking a church at 7.5, you want to be smoking Connecticut leaves. You want to be smoking medium to light bodied cigars. You don't want to be going in for something like this, which is like a little short pocket rocket that's Maduro. It's very strong, it's very peppery. So making sure you pick the cigar that's perfect for you will stop you from feeling sick. Another thing you can be doing as well is never smoke on an empty stomach. Always have a nice hearty meal, nothing too greasy, nothing too light. A nice hearty meal, line your stomach, ready for that smoking session. 3 is keeping yourself hydrated, keep your water intake up. That should go without saying for life anyway, but when you're actually smoking cigars, it's always best to have a glass of water to the side ready. I always have one on hand just in case, and I've been smoking cigars for over 5 years. And more importantly, if you're smoking a cigar and you do feel sick, stop smoking it. Put the cigar down, go have something to eat, go have something to drink, get yourself feeling well again. And if you feel like you can go pick that cigar back up and start again, then do so. Don't force yourself through it. Number 2, why are cigars not inhaled? Well, unlike cigarettes, cigar smoke is a lot thicker. It is more dense, so meaning you are going to have more of a harsher impact when you do inhale cigars. Some people do, and what you're forgetting is cigars are smoked for relaxation, they're smoked for flavour, they're not smoked to get that nicotine rush straight in you. It's not like a cigarette. You shouldn't be inhaling cigar smoke. It is very harsh, and it's just not enjoyable. Number 3, what cigars did Winston Churchill smoke? Now, Winston Churchill used to smoke cigars all the time. He was a huge fan of Cuban cigars. More importantly, he was a massive fan of Romeo or Julieta. And this is why Romeo or Julieta now have an entire range named after him. But he smoked so many different types of cigars that he actually has a vitola or a size named after him. So he used to smoke multiple different cigars. I think it was very rare you didn't see a cigar in that man's hand or on his mouth. And he actually delivered a famous quote that said, "Cuba will forever be on my lips." Number 4 is what cigars smell the best. All of them. It's one of the very many beauties of cigar smoking. Some will smell better than others. The stronger cigars will probably smell stronger. So if you smoke something like a Maduro, or if you smoke something that's been aged for a while, something that's a bit more spicier, you'll have a stronger aroma in the air. But they all smell good. The one compliment I get the most when I'm smoking a cigar in public is people saying, "Wow, that smells amazing." Question number 5, when a cigar is finished. Now, there's no right or wrong answer. A cigar is finished whenever you're done with it. Whether you smoke halfway and you put it down and you're done, whether you smoke it all the way down to the cap, then it's done. Never let anybody tell you when a cigar is finished. It's done when you're done with it. Whether that's halfway through, whether that's at the beginning or that's at the end. Cigars are designed for relaxation. And if you get to the point where you're not relaxing and you're forcing yourself through it, the cigar's done. And that's when it needs to be put down. Number 6, and this came through on our Instagram, is what cigars did Tony Montana in Scarface smoke? Now, unfortunately, you don't actually really see the kind of cigars he smokes. All the cigars he smokes are unbanded, and that's probably because when they're filming the movie, they wanted to have that persona that he was smoking Cuban cigars, but for the budget of the movie, they probably didn't have enough for the amount he smoked. There is, however, in the first nightclub scene, you see him handing out Romeo or Julietas. I don't know exactly which one, but he is handing them out there. Question number 7, and I'm actually going to do a full-length video on this because I could talk to you for hours, especially after our Nicaragua trip, which if you haven't seen our travel vlog for, go and click the link somewhere above here right now. I'll also leave it in the description below for our travel vlog. It was absolutely amazing and eye-opening experience to actually go out to Nicaragua, visit the brands that we love, like Perdomo, Oliva, Hoya, My Father, Padron. Go to their fields, see the tobacco grown, see how it's rolled and how it's made. I thought I knew a lot about cigars until I went on that trip, and now I feel like my knowledge has just broadened so much. So I am going to do a full video on how a cigar is rolled, and in that particular video as well, you actually get a step-by-step of a cigar being rolled while Nick Perdomo is talking you through it, which is absolutely fantastic. It's about halfway through the video, so go and check it out. The cigar is made by multiple different leaves from different levels of the plant. You have the Ligero, the Seco at the bottom, and the Viso in the middle, and you have a combination between the three. They all serve a different purpose. Filler blend is then rolled, scrunched, folded, however that particular brand wants to have its filler, wrapped in a binder and put into a clamp for a couple of hours to hold it still, is then handed over to the roller, who takes the wrapper leaf and then rolls it and seals it with a vegetable like oil. That is a very, very, very simple way of how a cigar is rolled. It is a lot more complex. I had a chance of rolling my own cigar and it took me nearly 7 minutes, and these guys are doing it in 15 seconds. It's absolutely crazy, but I will do an entire video with a breakdown of how a cigar is rolled. So make sure if you want to see that, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like and you share and you enable your notifications so you see when that video comes live. Question number 8. Can cigars go bad? Yes, they can. And they normally go bad because of the conditions that you're storing them in. If your humidity goes too high, you could potentially start getting mold, you could potentially get tobacco beetles. If the temperature drops too low, they can start cracking, and then they're too dry. There is loads of things that can happen for your cigars to go bad. But 99% of the time, it's because of the way you're storing it. And this is why it's so important to season your humidor properly before you put any cigars in. And again, we've got a video on that as well on this YouTube channel. I'll leave it in the description below as well. But go check that out. So make sure you season your humidor properly. Make sure you're monitoring your humidor properly. And this is the one thing I love about Boveda packs. You can just put them in, and 9 times out of 10, you can just ignore it and let it do its work. Number 9. Are there any cigars without tobacco? No. Well, I say no. You can, believe it or not, get e-cigars, which are basically like vape pens but in the shape of a cigar, and they taste like tobacco, so technically they don't have tobacco. 99.9999999% of the time, all cigars will have tobacco in it. It's what makes them so beautiful. Question number 10. What cigars pair well with whiskey? Now for me, there were we could do an hour, 2-hour video going through cigars of what cigars pair well with whiskey. I find there is always a whiskey that pairs well with cigar. There is always a cigar that pairs well with whiskey. It's just finding the right whiskey to pair with the right cigar. You could pick up one whiskey and smoke one cigar, that doesn't taste great, but you can use the same whiskey on another cigar and it pairs beautifully. For me to list a couple, the Placencia Year of the Tiger, absolutely fantastic cigar that pairs really well with whiskey. The Alec Bradley Project 40 pairs amazing with whiskey. The Black Market pairs amazing with whiskey. The Gurkha Ghost, amazing with whiskey. The Brickhouse Maduro, fantastic with whiskey. There's so many. We could literally, like I said, we could sit here for hours discussing what cigars go well with whiskey. There are so many. Number 11, again this came through on our Instagram page, is what cigar is best for a beginner? Now we kind of touched on this when I was talking about the things to be doing to not feel sick when you first start smoking cigars. When you're finding a cigar for a beginner, it is always best to go visit your tobacconist, or even better, shoot us a message. Our DMs and our messages on social media are always open. We will always get back to you. Our Instagram and our phone lines are also open as well. Believe it or not, you can actually place orders over the phone, so you get that discussion with the tobacconist as well, and they can pick you the perfect cigar as they're placing the order for you. But like I said at the beginning of this video, you don't want to be picking a cigar that's too strong. You don't want to be picking a cigar that's too large. If you've never smoked before, your body's not used to nicotine, your body's not used to smoke, you're going to start feeling nauseous, you might start feeling sick. Or you might just pick something that's too harsh for the palate and you hate it. What I always recommend is finding something that has a Connecticut leaf in there, especially on the wrapper. This is why I highly recommend the Brickhouse Double Connecticut, because you have two. It's a really light smoke. I've also done a review on this channel as well for that particular cigar. If you want to see what the experience of that cigar is, go check that out. But it's really light, it's really creamy, it's absolutely beautiful. The Padermo 10th anniversary Connecticut, again, fantastic cigar. But you want to be going with something light. You don't want to be going for something too big. I wouldn't go personally anything bigger than a Robusto for your first cigar. You'll get a solid 45 minutes to an hour and 15, depending on how quick you smoke. But that's a good judgment whether you actually like cigars. The last thing you want to be doing is picking up a Churchill, which is 7 to 7.5 inches long, and it's a good 2-hour smoke, and you're getting about 20 minutes into it and you hate it and you've wasted your money. So stick with Connecticut, stick to either Corona or Robusto size, and contact us. We are always willing to help. And finally is the best way to touch up an inconsistent burn. Now, this is probably one of the most asked questions I get on social media. I'm not getting an even burn. How do I touch it up? Now, there are multiple things that you can be doing to get an even burn. Firstly, you've got to remember these are handmade products. These are artisan products. They're not always going to be perfect. You're never going to get a perfect burn. I've got a pretty decent one on this Bosner, to be honest. It's very good. Can't complain about that burn. That's pretty flat. But you are going to get somewhere, you'll get maybe a step or it'll canoe down, and you are going to have to touch that up, or you're just going to get a horrible smoking experience. The smoke output will vary and it will change. You're going to start incorporating flavors down here which aren't supposed to be mixed with the flavors here, and it's not going to be great. First of all, remember, heat always rises. So get the bit that's uneven and place it at the top of the cigar and take a couple of puffs. Give it 5-10 minutes, just smoke it and don't rotate the cigar. Number two, to ensure an even burn, is to always make sure you rotate your cigar. I live by the rule, every 5 minutes, rotate your cigar 90 degrees. And that's what I do. And you might have noticed it throughout this video. You might see the band going around the cigar like that. 9 times out of 10, that's how I keep myself an even burn. Or if you do need to touch it up, simply get your lighter. This is why I love single jet flame lighters, because they're more accurate. You're not going to hold 4, 5, 3 torches to one bit of the cigar and just blow it up and possibly make it worse. You know, have your flame and work your way slowly towards the cigar and just burn off the little bit that's uneven until it's perfectly flat. And there you go. You got a perfect burn. But before you start blasting it with your lighter, before you start possibly making it worse, try the trick of placing it at the top and smoking it. Take maybe some longer drags, because what might be happening is the cherry, so the flame in the center of the cigar, isn't reaching that bit of the leaf because you're not taking long enough drags. So maybe you need to start taking ones like bigger ones like that. 9 times out of 10, it will even itself out. So that's it, guys. That's for episode 1 of the Q&A with smoking. We're going to start doing a lot more of these because we have a lot of questions that come in through either our emails, through our phone calls, through social media, our DMs. We've constantly been asked questions around the world of tobacco and cigars and pipes and snuff and everything else in between. And we want to just start doing videos like this on a monthly basis, putting them out there for you. So if you do have any questions that you want answering, get them in the comments below, shoot us a message or shoot us an email, and I'll make sure I get them answered in a future video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable your notifications. We're trying to grow this YouTube channel. We can't do that without your help. We've already grown it quicker and bigger than we thought we would have in a short amount of time we've been doing our YouTube videos, and that is all totally down to you. Make sure you go follow us on our social media as well. We post daily over there, and I'm not tooting our own horn. We do have some of the best photography in the industry at the moment. Really aesthetically pleasing. It's a really good place to be. We've got an absolutely great community. Thank you for joining us on this journey. I'll see you in future videos.